Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon. This afternoon, as it is Wednesday, it's the midway point of the week as well as the midway point of the day. So we're going to get into all the things going on in Razorback basketball, still coming off of that major dominating win that they had last night, as well as some college basketball news, not only in the SEC, but nationally we'll dive into. Dave Van Horn actually got to meet with the media today and has announced his starting rotation. So we'll get into some Razorback baseball as well. We'll get into, of course, all of your chats and all your great questions that I'm sure you're going to provide and have some fun with it doing that. But either way, fellas, it's Wednesday. How are the vibes here on this Wednesday afternoon?
The vibes are good. Yeah, it was a late night last night, but it was a good one for sure. Congratulations to Hayden again on the baby. Other than that, yeah, everything's great, man. I'm doing good. I'm feeling good. I kind of wish that there wasn't an extra day between games for Razorback basketball. They're fun to watch again all of a sudden, but nice to have a little bit of baseball to tide us over up until that point. Andrew, I know you're excited about it. John, I know you're going down there. Y'all let me know how to not pay Flo and be able to watch some of this stuff, okay?
Yeah, we'll figure something out. Someone's going to come through with the hookup. Now, we're not condoning illegal streaming, but wink, wink. But no, the one thing I love about baseball season is that no matter what, you play a game, there's one the next day, or there's, a next series, there's a next thing to move on to. With basketball, you get like kind of the perfect middle ground between football and baseball where you don't have to wait a full week, but you do get to kind of sit in the result for a few days. And that's why it's so important to not do something stupid on Tuesday night, especially when you got that little break in between. So I think we're gonna be feeling good about Arkansas basketball for at least the next 72 hours, and we get to watch some baseball in the meantime. We get to talk about it all, and so the vibes right now are extremely high, and they will remain high for the rest of the week.
I'm telling you, like last night, I know we watched it and saw it at Goat Lab, Red, and we've talked about it leading up into that as far as with the Pod at the Palace pregame show and even on Inside Arkansas Live. But it's like last night literally could not have been better. Like, I mean, it was just one of those things to where, no way that they go on the road, even against bad teams, and dominate two teams in a row. Like, that's just not a thing. Like, there's no way that that could happen. And if you would have told me going into that game, hey, by the way, not only are you going to beat LSU, you're going to beat LSU worse than what you beat Mississippi State, I've been like, I don't know, man. Like, especially without, Carter and DJ, which I know we'll get into. But to see that where from beginning to end, once again, just no concerns, no stress, just not being able to sit there with 12 minutes to go in the game and be like, man, I'm in a great mood. I'm feeling awesome. Like, that's just something that I'll never take for granted, considering how a lot of these games go awry. But man, I never would have guessed. And again, not saying that you beat some great teams, because Mississippi State and LSU are not great teams, but to be dominating and to not have any stress in any of these road games, considering that you had stress in pretty much every other game, it's just nice. It's just nice to have it for a change.
Yeah, it's cool for them to not only do what they were supposed to do, but kind of exceed the expectations there. You mentioned the margin of victory in those blowouts, John, and that's impressive. It did a wonder on Arkansas's resume, by the way, which is looking really, really good all of a sudden. I did not expect the Razorbacks to get a seed line bump for beating LSU, but buddy, they did by everybody that puts these brackets out there. So that's a good thing, man. And you're right. There's something to be said for just a stress-free midweek night. I remember how we felt the road game previously when we were hanging out at Norman, that Oklahoma game, and how I was sweating from my forehead during that entire post game because that was way more stressful than it needed to be. I prefer this for sure. And they've responded to a little bit of adversity too. I mean, you got two guys who've been a big part of what you've been doing all year who are out. And yeah, people make the argument they're better without him, whatever. That's not an easy thing for Arkansas to go do. And it was cool for him to do it on Cal's birthday and to present that man with a cake. We had rock, paper, scissors. There are all kinds of cool things going on. I'm with you. Two bad teams. You handled your business. Let's see you do it Saturday, but there's nothing wrong with feeling really good about what we've seen from this team since the bye week.
Yeah, basketball is a sport of variance. You have a rough shooting night, or, the bounces don't go your way. There's a few loose ball fouls. Our big man picked up 3 early. Like, weird things happen that cause your performances to fluctuate. And so I'm not naive enough to think that that's not going to be the case anymore, that Arkansas is just going to be good every single stretch of every single game from here on out. But that's been my favorite part of these last 2 games is they've really cut down on these weird 4-minute stretches where you're like, oh, where did that come from? And then we saw the good side of it where they can go on like a 22-2 run. And they had a nice little run early in both of these games, but it was really just comfortable, consistent, thorough Arkansas playing good basketball. That's been what's very encouraging about this. And I think there's a lot of results that happen in the regular season in college basketball. And then when you get to March and you watch these teams play and you think, man, how in the heck did they lose that game to so-and-so in November or December? And we've seen that with Arkansas time and time again. You're seeing a little bit of that with the 2 games that Arkansas played against LSU. Now we can just look back at that game and say, man, that's a very different version of Arkansas. Seems like they're taking stretches to maybe be in that kind of context where we're going to be looking at March and we're going to be like, man, I wish we could play Houston again. I wish we could play Michigan State again. I wish we could play all these teams again.
Yeah, I know. I feel great. I just feel like if you're after that Kentucky loss, and trying to just get it out of your system, could not have 2 better results than what you have right now. Now, you got to play Auburn this Saturday, Valentine's Day, which Auburn they got to put to them last night against Vanderbilt, which I know we'll talk about, but still have plenty of work to do. But you're sitting at 8-3 in SEC play. You got a stretch here where you can really start to catch some fire. And you mentioned the bracketology there, Curtis. Yeah, this is the latest. I saw you tweeted about it from old Joey Brackets and where he's sitting at it. So what's that I see? Let's see. Oh my goodness, is that a Razorback basketball team sitting at a 5 seed? Was that what I'm seeing? So
yeah,
how about
man.
that?
That's big time. And going into the road swing, they were pretty solidly a 6. And I was starting to see some people, kind of drop them into that 7 seed range. I'm like, come on, man. We know they're going to get some more wins, but you just don't want to start trending in the wrong direction. But again, what Arkansas did with their metrics, they jumped up from before the Mississippi State game to today. They jumped up 26 spots in defense, and that's something that's held them back so much. That's a massive jump for 2 games, and it's helped them a ton here. All those metrics are well inside the top 25 now. And yeah, you look up and they're almost in protected seed range there, where they get some of the favorable draws when it comes to geography and location and everything like that. When you get to the tournament, that's pretty cool. At some point, it might be this weekend, maybe it's next. You know how the college football playoff will do their first rankings reveal or whatever. Basketball does that, where they reveal the top 16 teams, like the top 4 seeds or whatever. Arkansas is going to be right in that mix right there. So I hope that they beat Auburn, because then we could have a serious conversation about it. Arkansas has never been in that, and I just think it would be cool. I'd like to be talked about on television.
Yeah, I definitely feel a lot better. I mean, it's not night and day, but 10 days ago, Arkansas had a much different resume on paper than they do this very moment. And we'll look up in 10 days and it might look completely different again. But I'm also just looking at some of these teams right there in the top 4 seeds that are above Arkansas, and I think there's clear paths for Arkansas to jump up. Now, will they go on the road and beat Bama? I don't know. I'm not even necessarily putting that on them. Will they go on the road and beat Florida? Probably not. But you at least see opportunities where you're like, man, Arkansas could really jump up in a pretty big, notable way here. I look at a lot of those teams in that 4 seed line as well, 2 of which Arkansas has beaten already. They beat Texas Tech on a neutral floor. They beat the crap out of Vanderbilt here. Yeah. I feel pretty confident saying Arkansas would commit a hate crime against Virginia. I think I would really like that matchup. Gonzaga, I haven't watched much of them this year, so I don't want to make a outlandish statement on them. But I think we now are at a point where you're starting to see some of these passes, and you're saying, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind playing this team in St. Louis. I wouldn't mind playing that team in Oklahoma City and things of that nature.
Yeah, I'm all about going to St. Louis at this point, man, because I was looking also too at, because you mentioned it, Ellis, about Arkansas beating Texas Tech and Vanderbilt, who are at that 4 seed. But then you also throw in Louisville right there, who's at the 5 seed spot, right there with Arkansas, who Arkansas also defeated. They'll have a chance against Alabama, but it's just incredible. We all knew that the schedule and everything was going to be great, but just seeing Duke above there, where the team you played, Houston, who you played, Michigan State, who you played, you're going to end up playing Florida. You already played Vanderbilt. You played. All these teams that you scheduled beforehand, everyone's like, oh, it's all the Elite 8 teams from the year before. Some people may have thought, well, are they going to be the same teams this year? Yeah, they are. They're really good. And the fact that you've played so many of these teams and a lot of them you've beaten, and some of them you'll have an opportunity to try and beat. It sucks, though, that Florida and Bama are on the road, because, man, if just one of those games were at home, you'd feel so much better about it. But hey, who knows? Maybe you screw around and find a way to win. But it's just nice to know that not only are you there, but you're deserving to be there, not because, you beat up on some bad teams and got some breaks your way. It's like, no, you had to go out and earn that spot. I mean, Arkansas has. They've earned that spot with the schedule that they played. and the schedule they continue to play. So, hey, keep on winning, keep going up that bracketology and mess around and get into those top 4 seeds. That would be awesome if they did that.
That'd be really cool, man. And I was kind of remembering back to last year when, like Arkansas had they played that game against Baylor, who wound up not being very good. And they played Illinois, who was awesome, Michigan. So they had some non-conference games. It wasn't like this. I remember being at a point this time last year where I was like, look, guys, we didn't know that Miami was going to be the worst power conference team in the country. You got the road win. Any road win against a high major is a good deal. Was trying to find ways to talk myself into Arkansas having a pretty quality resume. You have to do that in this one. Like coming into the season, we made such a big deal out of, well, Arkansas plays 9 games against last year's Elite 8. Well, that's last year's Elite 8. There's no guarantee that that'll be this year's Elite 8. But as you just pointed out there, with all these teams that are up there in these top seed ranges that the Razorbacks have seen, they're going to be pretty much ready for anything. And it is an extremely difficult schedule. And they've won more than their fair share of games. And it's starting to be reflected there on the resume. Now, don't go out and ruin it all because you've got, like Auburn's not going to be easy because that was a tough one for you at home. Then you go straight to Alabama. That's 2 games right there where this could kind of flip on you again. But I think even if they get out of that, we want to win every game, so everybody relax. But if you get out of that with a split, you're looking pretty darn good with just a couple weeks left in the season.
You know what's happening right now is we're taking this positive momentum and this positive energy, and it's snowballing a little bit. And I think if Arkansas beats Auburn Saturday, that snowball is going to be pretty big, and it's going to be rolling downhill with a lot more snow to accumulate. I think this is a very humongous game because I think, not to say that it would be the end of the world if Arkansas lost, it wouldn't be. And losing to Auburn, hell, they've already done it once. It's not that egregious of a thing to do, especially because Auburn should be pretty motivated, and we know how dangerous they are on a given night. But I do think it would kind of be a little bit of a body blow to this Razorback fan base who's, starting to kind of get their trust back, starting to get their belief back. You really want to at least just hold serve, even if you win by 4. You just kind of keep that positive feeling and you keep that positive momentum going. Now, I need you guys to talk me out of this because I'm excited about Arkansas being on the 5 seed line, but I'm a little bit I think I would rather be a 3 or a 6 than a 4 or a 5. Just because this particular year in college basketball, I really do think there's a separation, and it starts right after those 1 seeds. Some years. Yes. Some years, the two, you look at it, you're like, oh, that 2 or 3 seed is maybe more dangerous than that 1 seed. And maybe there's a 1 seed that you're like, kind of have your eye on. I don't like all those 1 seeds. I don't really see flaws to where I'm like, oh yeah, would love to see Arizona. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, honestly, you're 100% right about that. And last week, even though we were frustrated about where Arkansas was at, we were looking at all those bracketology projections with them as a 6 seed. And like every single one of them, we're going, yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Oh, well, it's not a bad draw. So like to your point, that's exactly right there. The higher they get, the better for sure. And they're, lost in all this is that they're very much alive in the SEC race. Yeah. And we're 11 games in at this point. Like we're getting ready to be on the final stretch run here. And I guess depending on how Florida is at Georgia tonight, or is it at Florida? I don't remember. Those 2 teams play
at Georgia.
At Georgia. So like crazier things have happened, but if they drop that game, I'm just thinking out loud here, then you would have Arkansas, Florida, and Kentucky all at 8-3, but you have Florida and Kentucky playing each other. So one of them would lose. Then if you beat Auburn on Saturday, then you're kind of in a virtual tie at that point. Now Kentucky would have the tiebreaker on you. Florida wouldn't because you hadn't played yet. So I don't know, man. It's getting interesting. I love being able to talk about conference title races too, because Lord knows we ain't been doing that recently.
Well, I was going to say, you laid it out as far as where Arkansas is at right now. And there's still some things that kind of have to go your way. But I don't know if there's ever been a time this millennium that Arkansas, after halfway or past midway point of conference play, has gotten into the number 1 spot of the SEC. Like, I don't think that's ever happened. Like it's one thing to where, you've got 2, 3, all of that. And it's about where you finish, of course. But even just to be on top, like you go to ESPN.com and you see the standings and you right there at number 1, not just because everyone's 0-0 and it's alphabetical order. Like, no, it's like you're number 1. I don't remember if that's ever happened, because the only time that Arkansas really was close to that was the year that they finished number 2 in the SEC. I remember it was Bobby Portis and Qualls. But the problem was Kentucky that same year was undefeated. So it's like it didn't matter. Like you could have any other year, you probably would have won the SEC regular season, but it was just bad timing for you.
I'm glad you brought up that team, John, because, I'm a young guy here. So I spent the first, 16, 17 years of my life never really seeing an actually good Arkansas basketball team. Some that made the tournament, some that were scrappy, but like never an actually good one. That Portis Qualls team was one of those years where it was like the first time for me as a fan watching and being like, man, we could really make a run. We really could be dangerous. But you knew Kentucky was there. And they not only he was like, Arkansas had a great conference record. They were like 5 games out of first place because Kentucky was undefeated. They played that Kentucky team, I think, twice and got hammered pretty good both times. So you just kind of knew. Like, you never had this feel of like, we could play with anyone, because I knew one specific team they couldn't play with. Some of those must teams I kind of felt that way about. But, man, it's this is definitely the closest to the top Arkansas's been in this deep in a while.
The only time I can remember was Muss's, like the Stanley Mude, that team that year. Going into the final weekend, they were still mathematically alive to win the regular season title. They were at Tennessee. They had to play that game without Aldis Toney. They were down big. They came back. They lost by like 2 or something. But they wound up either being the 4 or the 5. Like you had a chance to, you had a chance to win the league, cool, on the last day of the regular season, and then you take an L and you wind up dropping to the 4th spot. But so you don't even think about it then. I guess the post-COVID year. What were they? Were they a 2?
Yep, they were the 2.
But they won like 10 straight conference games or something.
Right,
like
but then but how many games did Bama win the league by?
I will look it up right now while you distract everybody and install.
Because I feel like I don't think Arkansas was alive. Now, Arkansas beat them in Bud Walton Arena, but I want to say that they were still at least a couple games behind them in the standings when it was all said and done. I could be wrong. So, like, it's to your point. Like, that year, Kentucky was there. You just knew it. So, you're up there in the standings, but you're like, all right, well, they're not going to finish in first place. I kind of feel like that's how it was with Bama.
Yeah, so Bama went 16-2 that year.
Okay.
Yeah, with one of those losses coming to Arkansas, which is ironic enough, because that was a team that was like really good, obviously. And then Arkansas in that same season, they finished. Let's see. Why does it keeps bringing up Bama? They went
13-5.
Yeah,
no, they went 13-4.
Oh,
because the Texas A&M thing.
That's right.
That's right. But okay, now real quick, I'm not saying that this current Razorback team can win the national title. I'm not quite like proclaiming that, but do we agree that during any of those must years, as good as they were and as fun as they were, you never looked at Arkansas and thought they could win the national title? Is that true?
Yeah.
The closest would maybe be when they beat that Gonzaga team. That was pretty cool.
Right.
That's probably the closest. But like, I don't know if there was ever a moment where I really was thinking about them winning the whole thing.
After me either, I will say after the Gonzaga game, I truly, and I mean this, I thought they were going to beat Duke. I really thought it was going to happen. It didn't. Boy, it didn't even come close. But I thought they would. But yeah, I don't know if I saw them as a title contender. There'll always be some what ifs about that year they lost to Baylor, but I don't think they had enough. I don't even remember who they would have played next, but I don't see it. Yeah, I think you're right, man.
Yeah, they would have played Gonzaga next not Gonzaga, because that's who Baylor beat in the championship. I wanted to say it was Houston. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Tough too.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say that the only time that, and this is probably stupid of me, but it was true, is like when Arkansas beat Kansas. My thought process was, if they get past UConn, they can go on a run here, because it's like I looked at the rest of the field. I was like, I love their chance. Now, obviously, we saw UConn and we're like, nope, that ain't happening. But I truly felt like at least a Final Four would have been in that case. But to your point, right? I've never felt that way. I never felt like, it was more of like, hey, if things go our way, then they can find a way to mess around and maybe win it. But there was never like a confident, like, oh, we got the best team left in the field right now.
Yeah. And listen, I don't think this current Arkansas team is there to where I'm like, oh yeah, they can win the national title. But I think that's like a thing that I'll be thinking about down the stretch, where it's like, if they win some games, they beat Florida, like they go on a run, I want there to at least be a moment where I look at them and I say, they could do it. They won't, but they could. I just want to at least have that in the back of my head, because it really hasn't been there in a while.
carrying over what they've done defensively against, some bad teams, but on the road the last couple of games, being more consistent, like not having any more of those, even if you lose a game or two, whatever, but not having those eggs out there. Was just like, good grief, man, they didn't show up at all. Like, they could change our minds about this. Cause like I think the talent is there. I don't know about to win a national champ, but to get to a Final Four or something, sure, why not? You got Darius Acuff on your team. Why couldn't you? But yeah, if that consistency kind of carries through February, I'm sure I'll be talking myself into something crazy. But after these 2 games on the road, I'm very happy about where they're at, but I'm not all the way there yet. Now, if they beat Auburn Saturday, I'll probably be talking kind of reckless going into that Alabama game. We'll see if I regret it. I don't even care.
Yeah, not at all. I won't regret it at all. Just like most people won't regret ever going to Blue Ember Smokehouse here in the state of Arkansas, because it's the best barbecue you're ever going to get. They specialize in handcraft barbecue, and we love going out there the first Wednesday of each and every month at the Rogers location. It doesn't matter if it's tender brisket or you're talking about some of their chicken, their sausages. They got some of the great smoked sausages there, even their home cooked sides. You're going to find a hearty meal for every single member of the family, because they use that high quality meats, as well as applying that signature blend of spices, which you can actually buy their rub. That's right. You can get the rub in store and be able to try to get to the level of Blue Ember. You can only attempt it, but still they do it the best way, where they slowly smoke in their wood only pits. It's just great stuff. So if you haven't been, you got to check it out. They also cater any event that you could possibly want, whether it's weddings, parties, business meetings, any gathering where a group of people are needed to be fed. Amazing barbecue. Blue Ember has you covered. And a reminder, we'll be live at the Rogers location the first of each and every month, the first Wednesday of each and every month. And so if you're wanting to check it out and get some of the catering for your events, whatever, it doesn't matter, weddings, parties, business meetings, any of that, give them a call at one of their 6 locations in the state of Arkansas. Phone numbers right there on the screen. Fort Smith, Jonesboro, Texarkana, Little Rock, Hot Springs, or Rogers. It's Blue Ember Smokehouse here in Arkansas. So,
John, have you been putting that seasoning on everything?
I have put it on quite a few things.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing.
None in the salsa though, right?
No, it's not. Maybe when I decide to branch out into the barbecue salsa, maybe when I do that. But
hey, don't be fishing for the recipe over there, Plankton.
Come on, man. Hey, listen.
What else are you putting in that salsa,
right?
John? Yeah. Trying to steal the formula. That's crazy.
It shows how stupid I am. I was looking into the chat. I'm like, who's Plankton? Like, who's are you talking about? But it's like, okay, SpongeBob reference. Yes, I get it now. But yeah, no, there's only one other person I have told the recipe to, and it's intern Cameron. I'm just telling you.
Really?
So,
I'll get it out of him.
I'm about to say this. It's a test for him. I'm gonna be like, all right. So if it gets leaked, I know who started it. I know where it came from. And,
Cameron's cool, but he's mischievous. He'd be the type of guy that would hand me the full list of ingredients, but have one that just ruins the entire thing. I'll go through the entire process and make it and be like, what the hell is this? And then he'll tell you what he did. He's that type of guy.
He puts you on a treasure hunt, like to try to find it's like pieces of paper throughout the entire city of Fayetteville. It's like you got to go to the top of Bud Walton Arena and up there and get like one piece. Like, do it like that. But no, still I wanted to play this video because we talked a little bit about it. But Cal getting a birthday cake yesterday, it was really wholesome and great.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lord. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Great stuff.
Gosh, I love that.
He was about to make a speech, and they're like, "Nope, we're going to keep singing." And then that was great, man. I love that.
You got to get on the same page about what we're saying. Like, because there were some people that said "Happy Birthday, Coach Cal." Some, I don't know. Someone probably said John. You got to get on the same page about what we're saying.
Yeah,
like, dear Coach, or
I love that, man. That's good stuff. Yeah, togetherness on a team. I like 1, 2, 3 roadkill a lot better than 1, 2, 3 touch money. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
That was good to see. Carter and DJ with big smiles on their face, and they're involved with all that. I love to see that. But the only thing I'm questioning I'm just going to say this. It was a risk to put that cake in Nick Pringle's hands. All right.
Come on.
That was a risk. Okay.
Come on.
Good thing it was a cake and not a defensive rebound. All right. I'm just saying. No, he's been a lot better. But when you go out and you get 16 rebounds in the last 2 games, you can hold the cake. Okay. It's fine.
Yeah. They saw him throw down that offensive putback, and they were like, you know what? His hands are a little bit more trustworthy these days. But yeah, back-to-back years of a brilliant birthday video for Cal.
Yeah. I still I'm cracking up because I'm wondering what he was going to say, like what he had prepared, because he tried to, because he's just going to say, oh, man, love this. Thanks, guys. Good win. Or, was it going to be something else? But they're like, no, we're just going to keep singing and have a good time. And you can he's like, all right, fine. I'll go over here. So it was awesome, man. I love stuff like that. And also shout out to TB, because he was kind of in the corner. If you rewatch the video, he's kind of in the corner. He's still singing along. But then as soon as all that's over, he's the one that first gets in there and puts his hand up. It's like, all right, let's back to business, guys. We got to knock this out. So, but that's awesome. Did they play on Cal's birthday last year? Or was it just during the week?
I don't think they played.
I don't think so. Yeah, because he was just chilling in his office, right? When they came in there.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I just didn't know if it was like the morning of a game or something like that. Yeah. But I was going to try to see if he has what's John Calipari's record on his birthday. Hog stats, get on that and see what he's got. If he's got a pretty good record on his birthday.
I imagine most years he was like taking a loaded Kentucky team and beating Mississippi State or something like that. So I bet he has a pretty good record.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should, at least with the success that he's had. Also, too, this was, again, a lot of cool moments, but also mentioned this was something that went viral, if you want to call it that, from last night's game, where there was a flagrant 1 foul called, and Malik Ewan, I believe this was the play where he was got stitched up. He's only had 4 stitches. He was injured, so Arkansas had to send somebody out there to hit the free throws to shoot it. And Darius Acuff and Malik Thomas both. Well, they're one of the 2 best free throw shooters, so they decided to settle it on the court like men.
Is this how we decide who gets the free throw if you're the best duo freshman in the country?
This is how you and I decide.
That's good.
This is how you and I decide who pays for dinner.
Look at Billy.
Tonight,
No doubt. No doubt.
He's making sure no shenanigans are played.
You know what, though? And
That was awesome, man.
Does not.
Did y'all see Leak admitted that he didn't even win the games?
Yeah.
How did that happen? I mean, if I'm Acuff, I probably grab him and I'm like, yo.
That's an alpha move.
Paper. Like
there's an alpha move right there by Malik Thomas. Billy was so caught up in what was going on. If I was Billy, I would have just walked to the free throw line while they were doing that.
Billy was as dialed in on that rock, paper, scissors game as anyone's been dialed in on anything. He did not. He was like eyes wide open staring at it.
I feel like Billy was, again, he's probably like, I know the rules of this game, and I'm going to make sure I'm the third party. I'm going to make sure that there's no shenanigans getting played over here, and I'm going to watch closely to make it happen. But that is kind of funny because I use this as a funny deal when it comes to the Alumni Hall question of the day, which we'll get to. You guys call it rock, paper, scissors, right? Not paper, scissors, rock. It's rock, paper, scissors.
I've always been rock, paper, scissors, yeah.
Okay, because there were people that I saw last night, like college basketball people that were seeing the video and like quote tweeting it and whatever and saying what was going on. And there was quite a few of them that I saw say paper, scissors, rock. And I'm like, that's not what that is. It's rock, paper, scissors. Who says paper, scissors, rock? So
not me, I.
No, I didn't either. And so that's why I used it as Alumni Hall question of the day. It's like, what do you call it? And it was good to see because 97% said rock, paper, scissors. So
according to the Google AI, which I'm sure is definitely accurate,
course,
it has John Calipari at 5-2 on his birthday.
Okay,
is that? I mean, if you have a February 10th birthday, I thought you would play like more games, but I guess there's only one day of the week that it could be. Well, I guess it could be 2 days of the week, 3 days a week, but I thought he would have played more games.
Yeah, I think that's about right because you think about like sometimes there may be a time where he had his birthday on Wednesday, but they played on Tuesday, or his birthday was on Tuesday and they played on Wednesday, in various weeks. So
there's that aspect of it too, and then I guess that actually does make sense.
Yeah, but 5-2 is good. I'd like to know what the 2 losses were.
I don't know. They only gave me they said the most recent win was last night.
I think Mosley in the chat is on the he's researching this right now, so we might get an answer to that.
Okay, good.
Get through the numbers real quick, Mosley.
Yeah.
Let us know and get back with us on it. So,
what'd you say? Scissors, paper, rock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't even feel right.
What's the
somebody
other
said-
version? It's like gorilla bear gun, or no?
I have never heard that.
There's something gorilla man gun gorilla. Somebody in the chat has played this one at like church camp or something like that. The gorilla beats the man beats the gun beats the gorilla.
Interesting.
I feel
And
like
it's like a thing you're like, you play back to back with someone and you turn around and you either are a gorilla, a man, or a gun. You know,
I believe you. This is news
Yeah.
to me, but I believe
Listen,
yeah.
church camps in the South, bro. This is what we do.
you.
Somebody said they references Rochambeau is what it used to be. I'm like, that was actually, fun fact, one of my gamer tags back when I was on that PlayStation 3. But I always thought that was the one where I think you do something where it's like, hey, I'll play it for it, and you just got to hit the other person in the balls, and if they go down, then you win. And it's
That's
like
the Rochambeau I know.
yeah. So somebody's like, I was like, if somebody has to play Rochambeau and they're doing rock paper scissors, then that's not the version that I remember. So, but either way, glad we established that and got that out of the way.
I keep waiting for somebody to come in here and bail Andrew out for his man bear pig game.
Only one person has. so.
Okay.
Man, bear pig.
I took
You know
that
what?
from Ryan in the
Matter
chat.
of
He's
fact,
good.
it wasn't church camp. It was horse camp that I went to. Did I ever tell you about when I went
Horse
to horse
camp.
Hold up. Arkansas
Horse
athletics
camp?
doesn't matter right now. What?
2009, I went to horse camp. There was about 50 people at this camp, and there were 3 guys: me, one of my best friends, and another guy. And that was
Okay.
it. And that's where we played that game.
What?
We learned how to ride horses.
Okay, about to say, I was like, so is it like a camp? Because when I think camp, I think of like a week-long thing, like you stay in cabins. Like, is it?
Yeah, we
that?
stayed in cabins. It was like probably 3 days, maybe a weekend type of thing. But I remember we did this thing called barrel buddy pickup, where me and my buddy, he would go stand on top of a barrel. I'd ride the horse, and we'd ride around. He'd jump on the horse. It was like this. We had all these things. Our parents came out and saw us. It was a great ordeal.
What in the world?
I
Okay.
swear, like I feel like I know that I've known Ellis a while, but it, like every so often, it just unlocks this whole new compartment of stuff I never even known. Like that he went to horse camp and he played these games and like just learned to ride. So you know how to ride it. So if you know, like if the bomb dropped and all we had in transportation was horses, like you could just hop right on one and get after it.
For sure.
Okay.
I mean, it's really not that hard to ride a horse. You just kind of, you start off, you just kick the sides of it. You got your little things to steer it. I mean, it's, you pull, you push, it's not that hard.
I'm not convinced that this is not a bit.
I can find footage of this. I can find actual pictures of,
Now we're
me at
talking.
horse camp.
Okay.
Like without a doubt.
Yeah. I hope there's video of just like, Ellis, like, jumping fences over here, and stuff. And, like has his cowboy boots on and his hat. And, it looks like it's going to rain today. Like, just being out there on the farm. That's crazy. Any other camps that you went to that we need to know about? Like,
no, I mean, like my church camp, we had some great times at church camp. I was a camper and a counselor there back in the day. I used to go there like every year. Horse camp, I just went once because one of my best friends, he went to it. And so I was just like, well, I'll go with you.
Man, no, I mean, it's great. Like I just didn't know that that was a thing of a horse camp. So but now the more we know. I mean, Curtis, is there any camps you've been to we need to know about?
I've been to church camps. I've been to basketball camps. Can't say I went to horse camp. No, it definitely wasn't a thing. I don't even think it was. Well, no, I went to church camp, but I used to get sent off to vacation Bible school every
VBS,
summer,
baby.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
VBS.
It's the easiest way to pawn your child off in the summer when you don't feel like watching it is just be like, hey, go learn the ABCs real quick of Christ.
Yeah.
ABCs of Christ. Yes.
They used to burn all of our CDs. It's like throw all your devil music in the fire pit and then go home kind of deal.
I used to steal my phone out of the bin every now and then. I'd go find it.
Man, see,
Anyway.
and again, my thought process when he said burn CDs, I was thinking like, when you actually burned your CDs, like,
Oh, yeah.
LimeWire.
yes,
Right.
that was immediately what I thought. I was like, oh gosh. So, anyways, but yeah, we went ahead and I'll go ahead and do the read since we aren't kind of answered the question. We got off on a tangent, but that's fine. But hey, Alumni Hall's #1 Razorback shopping experience you need to go to if you ever need some great Razorback gear. A lot of you are going to be heading down to Arlington this weekend, and a lot of you are going to be rocking some baseball gear, but don't go with the last year stuff. Go with the new stuff. Alumni Hall has it fully in stock right now. They have baseball jerseys, all the home whites. They have the grays. They have the reds, if you want to check those out as well. And also the hats. Yeah, everybody's big on the Razorback baseball hats, the official team wear. They have them while supplies last, and they go quick. So if you want to get all geared up for the Razorback weekend down there in Arlington, or for Razorback basketball this weekend in Fayetteville, be sure to go to InsideArkansas.com/alumni hall. That's InsideArkansas.com/alumni hall. You can also shop them in store at 3417 North College Avenue. It's Alumni Hall, the ultimate Razorback shopping experience. Now, before we get into the chat, I think that this is the question that some people have had, and I know we've kind of alluded to it as well. Hey, is this team better without Carter Knox and DJ Wagner? Because that's pretty much how people are going to see these two dominating performances. And they not to say that they were not capable of doing this with those guys, but it is just one of those things that people try to correlate two things together. Is there something to be said about it though? Are they better? Are they more equipped? Or is it just, hey, you played some bad teams, you made it happen? Like, does DJ Wagner and Carter Knox being out have anything truly to do with the better performances that we've seen from Arkansas the past two games?
Yes. I mean, I think there's some of that there, but it's also everything else you just laid out there. It's having the bye week and being able to work on some things. Cal talked about some of the things that they're doing now different defensively that have helped them out. It's a combination of things, guys not looking over their shoulder, worrying about getting taken out. It turns out that the more you have Darius Acuff and Malik Thomas on the floor together, the better you are as a basketball team. Like, I think there's a lot to that. What you have to understand is that doesn't mean that DJ Wagner and Carter Knox are bad players, or that they're bad for chemistry, or that they don't fit. None of that is true. I don't believe any of that to be true. While I think some of the reason why Arkansas is playing better basketball involves having this tighter rotation here, it's also not sustainable what they're doing right now. They will not be able to sustain what they're doing right now the rest of the season with six guys and what you hope you can get quality minutes out of Isaiah Sealy for. They need to get him back. You need to be able to give DJ some minutes in there just so Acuff and Malik Thomas their legs don't fall off by the end of these games. They got to be able to get some time. Carter, I think you need him. I think you need him defensively. I think you need his rebounding. I think you need his size. That doesn't mean it has to come at, we talked about this last night, Andrew, the expense of Billy Richmond and what he's able to do there. My thought process is Arkansas is playing better without them right now. They can become an even better team than they are right now when they get them back. But do I think at this point that it should be status quo? Throw Carter right back into the starting lineup. DJ's playing 25 minutes a game. I don't think so. I think it's going to come with some changes or some tweaks whenever they do get healthy.
Yeah, I think, Curtis, you nailed it in that what they're doing is not necessarily sustainable, in that, like, you don't want to consistently go through an entire season with 6 men in the rotation, but for this 2-game stretch, it kind of needed. I think there's a lot of variables that led to these last 2 games going as well as they did. Part of what factored in is you played 2 bad teams. And so that accounts for some percentage. Now, is that 10% or 90%? We don't know. I think guys knowing they needed to step up, that also accounts for a good bit of that. I think that week off where the team got to kind of reset and refocus, figure out who they wanted to be, that certainly helped. And so I think the question we now have to figure out is, like, of that pie chart, how much of the bad opponents factored into that, or how much is it just a mentality shift that was going to happen? Because I do think Arkansas was probably, if Carter and DJ don't get hurt, it would have looked different. I think Arkansas was going to play good basketball these last 2 games no matter what. And they just kind of had that feel on the floor. They seem very together as a unit. And I don't really buy that, like, Carter and DJ were getting in the way of their team unity. But I do think them going down for a couple games brought the better version out of some of these guys, which is a good thing. But like you said, I think there's very much a path to them kind of adding to what Arkansas already has going on, especially because neither of those guys are particularly ball-dominant dudes.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. We'll never know, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if those guys were still playing and whatnot, and then Arkansas was able to have the dominating performances they had the past couple of games, because maybe just that week off, something like that could have just really been what the team needed in general. Maybe it was something like that. Maybe it was that coupled with the Kentucky loss and how pissed off everybody was. Like, I just think that it's a very simplistic way, and I'm not saying a lot of Razorback fans are doing this, but just a simplistic way to say, like, okay, these guys shouldn't play anymore because we beat 2 really bad teams on the road convincingly. Therefore, they're more of a detriment to the team. I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense to me. You want to have the best players out there. And like you said, it's not sustainable because it's like, say what you want, but we know what Carter Knox can do. We know what DJ Wagner can do. And I don't think that takes away from the team. It's just more about, managing and making sure that you have the right matchups and having them play really well and all of that. But, I don't know how long these guys are going to be out, but it's just nice to know where when they play Auburn this Saturday, say if both of these guys are out again, I'm not saying Arkansas for sure is going to win, but it's kind of the same thing. We're like, they can beat Auburn without these two guys. It's just nice to have because you have such great players where it's like you can do it without them. I just don't want to do it without them for the rest of the year, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. And now I don't think it's a big deal, but we don't know for sure what Malik Ewan's status is going to look like on Saturday. Yeah. So I would love to get at least one of those dudes back, if possible, for sure. But I here's the thing. They're going to have their opportunities when they come back, but what that grows into, what it looks like for them, if they want to get back to the way it was in terms of how much they were playing and contributing and relied on, that's on them because they have to come back and play the exact same way that these guys are currently playing. They got to have the same type of intensity. They got to be locked in. They got to be flying around defensively. They got to be playing together, and in lockstep with everybody else out there. And it can't be, I got to make up for lost time and get my shots up or whatever. Neither one of those guys play like that. In fact, there's been plenty of games where we're looking at Carter Knox's box. We're going, why the hell is he not shooting more? Why we had another Carter Knox game with only 4 shots. Neither one of them are selfish players. So I think that they would be able to come back and embody that. But listen, man, it's just sometimes you get Wally pipped. You know what I mean? And if you miss some time and then Arkansas's found something with this core group and they really like what they have going on, you got to get in where you fit in and then take advantage of your opportunities if you want that to grow. That's just kind of the way that it is.
Yeah, I think that's when a team and a program is at its peak operational power, is when you are able to really look at guys on your team and say, hey, you're either going to do what we're doing, and we're doing this at a high level. Like, this is how we do things. This is the standard. This is the level we're playing at. You're either going to adapt or you're not going to play at all. You always say that to your players, but earlier in the year, when Carter Knox is starting games, it's kind of tough to say that of like, oh, you're either going to get what we're doing because you're in the starting lineup. And Carter knows he's going to play. And not to say that Carter was like letting that get into the way of his head of how he's approaching these games or whatever. But I do think there's a lot of value in just those guys being on the sidelines and seeing the way everything operates and seeing the level they play at. And we actually now know it to be true. They can play 6 guys if they want to. Cal tells these dudes all the time, I only need 5 of you. I only need 5. I'll take 6. I'll take 7. We'd like to have 8 or 9, but like, I don't have to play everybody. And of course you are going to, and you're going to play an 8 or 9 man rotation, but to have that kind of in your back pocket and have that leverage as a coach to where you don't have to just lie to them and be like, oh yeah, you're not going to play if you don't fit in what we're doing. They see it in real life. Cause I guarantee you, DJ and Carter, they have confidence in their ability to help the team. I'm sure it's crossed their mind of like, oh crap, they just played really well. Like, I have to play at that level if I want to really be a part of this. And that's good. Sometimes those guys need that little kick in the rear.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I know we'll get to your chats too, but before we do, speaking, kind of shifting gears over to the baseball side of things, Dave Van Horn met with the media today. Andrew, we got a starting rotation for this weekend. Any surprises?
No surprises based on just at least everything that's been trending this way leading up to it. Now, once the 2025 season ended, if while we were in Omaha, you would have said, yeah, the opening rotation is going to be Gackle, Dietz, Fisher, I would have been like, how the heck did we get there? But this offseason, things have kind of been trending that way. One, Hunter Dietz's performances. One, he's healthy. Just nice to see him out there throwing. But through 3 innings behind closed doors a few weeks ago, struck out 5. Through 4 innings the other day at Bomb, struck out 6. Like, he's been building up to a starter's workload. They feel really good about what he's been doing, and so we'll see how that operates. And Colin Fisher, he threw 5 innings the other day in the scrimmage and looked like he had 5 more in him. He just has that kind of feel of like a dude that just fills up the zone, gets outs pretty easily. And I think a lot of people are viewing this starting rotation as like a demotion for Cole Gibbler, because I think a lot of people assumed Cole Gibbler would have a good chance to start, and he did. You know, he was right there in that mix. I think Cole Gibbler has a lot of value in the bullpen, which not to say that doesn't exist for Colin Fisher, but like, they weren't using Colin Fisher as a closer down the stretch last year. They weren't using Colin Fisher as this high leverage reliever. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, if you don't start Colin Fisher, how are you going to use him? Where with Cole Gibbler, it's like, we know what Cole Gilbert's going to do when he's not starting because we've already seen it. We've already seen him in the 9th inning. We've seen him come in and throw 3 scoreless innings against Tennessee in a big super regional. Like, we know what kind of value he can have. They might use him twice a weekend. And so I think Cole Gilbert's going to be into the role that Gabe Gackle had down the stretch last year, where he's kind of that hybrid do-everything reliever. And I'm excited to see a lot of these guys throw, man.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it all goes down there, and to know that Dietz is getting the go against the best team you're going to be facing down there in TCU is going to be a lot of fun as well. So I can't wait to see how it all goes down. But we'll get into that and as well as more of your chats here, folks. But I want to remind everybody that Hickey Hull Law is the official law firm of us here at Inside Arkansas. If you ever need any legal advice, if you ever need any of that legal guidance, there's only one place to go. It's Hickey Hull Law, because they have their offices across the entire state of Arkansas. And the biggest thing about them is that they will always communicate with you. It doesn't matter if it's text message, email, on the phone, in person, whatever you need to get the best representation, they are going to provide you, because they're honest, principled, and they're always, always, always going to take care of you each and every step of the way. It doesn't matter if it's divorce cases or custody cases, because we know those are really important, dealing with family. They've handled thousands of family law cases, so they've experienced every scenario that's come up. So anytime you need something like that for help, they're going to provide it for you. And they understand that's crucial to keep you updated on it. And so they're going to make sure they do that too. They do it all. So give them a call today for any of your legal advice at 479-434-2414. That's 479-434-2414. You can also check out their website at hickeyandhull.com. Scan that QR code on your screen as well. It's Hickey and Hull Law. Things are about to get better. All right, so getting into some of your chats, folks. Appreciate it. As we all know the rules, super chats always get read first. Shout out to our guy Hayden. He says, I caught strays on both the pre and post game. WTH, boys.
Hey, I had your back, Hayden. I had your back the whole way. We appreciate you.
It bothers me that I was excited enough to care that could have been a thing, and just making it out to be an insult to my guy. Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
I still owe you a beer.
Like I said, if you catch strays, it usually means we like you. So take that as a badge of honor if that's the case. One Cubs fan appreciates his laugh at Ellis for horse camp, but it was 3 dudes and 47 chicks. He's low-key a genius for that. Is Ellis the alpha inside Arkansas? Bro, Hogs beat Auburn by 15.
That's one way to look at it.
It was, I was about to say, it's one of those things. It's either a genius move or a little bit of a weird move. I think it's probably somewhere in the middle. I honestly don't remember having a ton of success though. I think it was, we were like 12 years old also. So it's like, it's not like you're really chatting up the ladies too much then. We were probably like scared to talk to them, but we had a good time. I also do have, by the way, photos. I did a bunch of photos, and I'm sending them to John now, and we'll see.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. I am
can't wait.
Oh my goodness gracious. All right. We're not even we can't move on until I pull these up and get these in there.
See this.
This is outstanding. Wow. This is outstanding. All right.
I knew these pictures existed somewhere. I just had to scroll through some Facebook albums real quick, but I was like, I think I have proof of this actually.
Yep. All right. So yeah, forget any sports and stuff. This is Andrew Ellis riding a horse.
That horse was named Fancy, by the way. Little white horse named Fancy. I love that thing.
Man, got the helmet on to make sure that nothing happens. You look locked in, man. You look locked in. And
you think they just hand out those certificates of completion? No, you gotta go through the regimen. You gotta hit your stuff.
That's amazing. It's so amazing, man. Well, hey, listen, there's no bit or anything. It was proof. Andrew Ellis, horse guy.
I would never lie about horse camp. I would never ever lie about horse camp.
Yeah, it's not something that we lie about on this show. It's a big deal. Good for you, man.
Yeah, listen, I can't ride a horse. I wouldn't know what to do with it. So I'm glad that we all have our traits. Hickory Hog was saying, which one is Andrew? And I'm like,
nah, come on.
What do you mean? Like, which one's Andrew?
That's me over there on the left.
Yeah, it's like, come on now.
Shout out to my boy Cohen LaCour. We went to Louisiana. I think he went to Louisiana Tech with me too. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Let's see. Also, David, appreciate Super Chat, says, will Ewan go clear or black mask for Saturday? Ooh. Should be a Saracen prop. Yeah, we need to get him on that. Also, what's his new nickname? I submit the Malikalorian.
Hopefully he's not wearing a mask. Unless he broke his nose, he shouldn't have to. So I hope that he's not.
That's like, it was up on his forehead, wasn't it? Or was it in his?
It was like
looked like between his eyes almost. But yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we get an eye patch, maybe?
Nah,
Eye patch.
I think he's gonna be
ceiling.
fine. I think he's just gonna have that. He's gonna look like Harold Potter. You know.
Bro's gonna look like Kane out there.
Yeah. As I'd say, I don't know if, like, unless he just wears a massive like headband, to like keep it together. Yeah, but yeah, I don't think you.
Headband leak low key might be a thing.
That could be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe that's what he does, to keep that extra protection out there. But yeah, because that's everyone's like, oh man, he's gonna have a mask. He's gonna look like Bane out there. I was like, I don't think it's like masks are usually for like the nose and that
Right.
like
Now,
that. So.
don't get me wrong. I hope that he wears a mask. I think it would be electric. I don't know which way he would go there. Probably the clear. I don't know. What was it Braun that went with the blackout mask for?
Yeah, and then he got in trouble for it. I think he wore it once, and then the NBA was like,
They shut it
you
down.
can't do that. They made him do a clear one. They were like, nah, get on that Rip Hamilton.
Yes. Yeah.
I like the headband idea.
Yeah. Like I said, maybe we'll see it. Maybe we'll see it on Saturday. Let's see. Sharkasaw says, did y'all talk about Leak saying he lost rock, paper, scissors? Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We did discuss that. But yeah, it's just outing himself. But here's the thing is like, I'll be honest, guys. I'm a little disappointed in A-Cuff just letting it happen. If I would have been A-Cuff, we'd be like, absolutely not. I'm taking these free throws. And just, he's like, I'm the captain now. I would have been like, dude, I got 24 points. Sit down. Go over there.
Yeah.
That kept him from getting 30 on LSU again.
And, there was a Saracen prop for a player getting 30 points.
Yeah.
So, he may have cost some people some money. A-Cuff, bum. He's a bum.
They said on the broadcast that they had, going into the game, they had the exact same free throw percentage. And I wonder if that really was like part of the conversation, like pregame, where they were like, one, I'm sure they talked about the what happens in a flagrant situation after the Kentucky game, but I wonder if they looked at the numbers and were just like, hey, y'all are literally dead tied. So there's not an obvious one. Y'all can decide amongst yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Actually, this is since I know we keep talking about rock, paper, scissors, but like, have you like, what's the go-to thing to get that you would play rock, paper, scissors right now, like with a buddy? Like, what is the, well, no, I'm not talking about like what you throw. I'm talking about like, what are you doing it over? Like, some people are like, hey, if you call shotgun at the same time, you're going to play for that. Like,
Wow.
I mean,
yeah, I think shotgun is a big, like, I would say if we were like on Jeopardy, like the things that rock, paper, scissors has been played the most over, shotgun might be up there.
yeah.
But I always defer to Curtis. I'm always nice and I give Curtis the front seat.
Every time I hop in John's truck, it's like he's been driving Ellis around like an Uber or something.
Yeah, like driving Miss Daisy around here. Yeah, it's like
I always know it like kind of like low key annoys John when I do it. And so not that I do it for that reason, but I am always aware of it in the moment where I'm like, because it's like 10 minutes that I sit back there before I get to your house. And I'm like, I know John hates that.
Do you guys talk or do you just?
No, never.
Yeah. There's no talking. No, it's just like I kind of like funny because it's like, you can't just like get out when we get there and then go to the back. Like you don't have to, but it's
extra steps.
Or I could get in the back. I don't know. It's
yeah.
I mean, it's very spacious back there.
There's a lot of room. Yeah.
But say it's not like you're driving, hopping into a, like my old Mercury Cougar hatchback. It's like, it's like you there's some room back. They do make trucks where there is room in the back seat. So, yeah. Also, super chat from Brock says, how did you end up being a Hog fan, Andrew?
Well, honestly, there was never a moment of my life that I wasn't a Hog fan. My parents were both from Little Rock, Hot Springs area, both grew up as Hog fans. My 4 older siblings were all born in Arkansas. My parents moved to Louisiana in 95, and I was born in 97. So it's like culturally, like my family, there was never any debate about like whether they were going to be Hog fans or LSU fans. And for me, there was never any debate either. My brother was pretty adamant about it. Like he kind of like when I was like as young as 4 or 5, started like planting those seeds. And by the time I was 6, I was already like watching games and stuff and like, starting to learn some things. The internet's huge too, where I used to just literally sit at my computer and just, when I was like 8 years old, just like typing in Arkansas football schedules and like going through stuff. And I just kind of became obsessed with it from a very young age. So it's like, yeah, honestly, there was never a moment where I wasn't. But my brother is probably the ringleader in converting me and making sure that I never became an LSU fan. And I am very grateful for that.
Yep, because it would have sucked to win all those championships. But
wouldn't have got to go to heaven though. That would have been
that's true.
The risk reward is not.
Yeah, that is true. That's true. Let's see. Malik Acuff says, beat Auburn. It's personal. So, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be nice to keep Keyshawn Hall.
Yeah, I'm going to be kind of interested to see that because, there's a lot of discourse about, well, dang, this is the same circumstances that Arkansas played Auburn last time. Like they're, coming off some struggles and they're going to be super motivated and everything like that. And maybe that's true. They've lost 3 in a row, 2 in a row at home. That got weird on them last night. A bunch of technical fouls called. Stephen Pearl just benched Keyshawn Hall for like the last 12 minutes of the game, just benched him. And they came back without him. And so is that situation getting volatile over there? I don't know, man. It's a little bit of a strange deal. So we'll see what Keyshawn Hall is made of. He's a guy who hasn't contributed to a lot of winning basketball over the course of his career, as good of a player as he is. So with some adversity here now, as good as he is, you would think, well, he's going to come play the game of his life in Fayetteville Saturday. And knowing our luck, that's probably exactly what will happen. But if he's butting heads with the coach and he got benched and he's in his feelings, he could come out there and lay another egg. So it could go either way. And that's why when people are like, oh, great, we're going to have pissed off Auburn to deal with again. This is awesome. Or you could have struggling, capsizing Auburn who's right for the picking in there. That's another option. I want to move away from doing the thing where a team Arkansas is getting ready to play is losing a bunch of basketball games and we're like, oh no. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy to me.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way, but it's just that PTSD that always comes in. It's like, of having a team like backed into a corner. Does it usually go well for you? Well, I think it'll go well for Arkansas. At least I'm hoping so. Let's see. Also, Hogs Solo says defense upgraded from the round of 32 to Sweet 16. Final Four offense and Sweet 16 defense. So.
I can't remember which announcer it was, but it was when we were at Oklahoma. And he was doing the bit where he was like, yeah, but this, these guys can score, but this it's a round of 32 defense that these Razorbacks have. They got to get better. So I like that. They're graduating. They're moving on up.
So if they're now a Sweet 16 defense and a Final Four offense, do we just split the difference? This is an Elite 8 team. Is that?
I think that's where we're at.
That's how the math works out.
Yeah. Well, it's also, I know we were joking about it last night, but shout out to, was it Damian Fishback for we got ourselves a game now.
Oh, that was great.
Arkansas is up by 14. And LSU went on no run. It was like early in the game, first half. It wasn't a run. They just made a basic basket. And then Damian Fishback's like, oh, watch out. We got ourselves a game now. It's like, because what? That was one of my favorite things of last night.
Goat Lab loved that, man. Everybody in there was like, what's he talking about? He really got me too towards the end of the game where he was trying to make LSU fans feel better. He was like, you gotta understand, you're down a couple of your guys right now. Arkansas's got all their guys. Isaiah Sealy. And I was like, what is he talking about? Guys are nuts, man.
The purple out, I think, just had everybody in a bind last night because no one was there. Like literally no one was there. So that was pretty tough scenes. Let's see. Also, too, Kingsley says none of these guys are going to make it on The Voice. Better stick to hoops.
That's talking about the happy birthday.
Like the Hoopers singing?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Also, by the way, did y'all see the discourse about the different happy birthday songs in the chat? They sang the second song with a little bit more vigor than they sang the first song.
Yeah.
Their tone sharpened up a little bit on the Stevie Wonder one.
Yeah. I think it's when you can start vibing to it a little bit more, it's like you get into it a little bit more. So
Pringle was ready for it, man.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
You know who wasn't ready for it? Elmer. Not ready for the second. He was not ready. He thought there was just one happy birthday song.
At most, he was probably saying "and many more" afterwards. When it ends, that's probably the extent of what he had it. So Addison says, "Could you imagine this locker room scene if we had lost last night?"
Yeah, what do you do with that cake? Because that cake had been purchased well before the game, right?
You toss it.
I mean, you literally throw it away, possibly.
You might have one of the managers slice it up. Just grab a slice on the way out to the bus.
No candles, no nothing.
No. Yeah, scrape off the happy birthday and just
Yeah, that was a risky move, and I'm wondering did they bring it on the plane with them because surely they didn't get it down there in Baton Rouge. They had to bring it on with them and be ready for it and all of that. But
we just get it to show you.
Oh yeah, he would have talked. He would have talked about it. He probably would have done a whole video on it, like reviewing it and talking about how great it is.
Did y'all see his post-game report from the airplane?
Yes, it was awesome.
It was almost like he didn't know he was already recording when he started. Right away, he's like, "What's up, playa?"
Didn't like the phone
watch it, dude.
Didn't the phone get like knocked over or something like that? Yeah.
Yeah. It was gold, man. I love that man. I really do.
I love Coach Z. Yeah. Let's see. TJ Underwood says, "Ole Ellis getting the first question in the presser. GOAT."
Yeah, now people were making fun of me a little bit because I did have to clarify. I was like, "Did you say Ellis?" One, I wasn't expecting first question. If I'm being honest with you, I was barely expecting to get a question. Period. But then he was like, "Ellis, start us off," and I was like, "Ellis, is that what you said?" Couldn't tell, but yeah, he had a good exchange with Dave.
Yeah, it's like in case there's another Ellis that joined the media beat, having to look around and see how that happens. So they don't give you the first name treatment; it's just Ellis.
I guess one, obviously Andrew Hutchinson's always in these things, and so
yeah, I guess that makes
maybe
sense.
but we usually calls Hutch.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever. I wasn't too offended by it, but I genuinely was like, is it me first? Like I didn't want to speak over somebody if he didn't say Ellis. I didn't quite hear him correctly.
No. Oh, there you go. Also, Ryan says ready for that bombastic live at 3 today.
Yes, we are doing our typical casual Wednesdays, which is actually on Wednesday this week because the basketball team already played. My goal for the show is that, because everyone, if you work in a office or a cubicle, whatever, nobody does any work from 3 to 5, like genuinely. And so this show is now every week on Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever it is due to basketball. This is how you run out the clock on your workday. And you just hang out, talk some baseball. Some weeks we'll maybe be previewing the weekend ahead. We might talk a little bit about Arlington, but really it's up to you guys. We're just going to be talking baseball. It's going to be a weekly live edition of the Bombastic Podcast. It'll be fun, man. We have a lot of casuals and non-casuals, a lot of diehards that pop in too. And so come hang out with us later today.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. I guess I just saw I got tagged in. Anytime I get tagged in a Joe Tipton tweet, it's something, I guess, hey, look at that. Jordan Smith Jr. is going to announce his commitment on Friday.
Wow.
To everyone who's been in our Discord, you've known this since Sunday. Congratulations.
Yep. Exactly right. I'm sure it'll go well, right? It'll be great. He's got 6 schools involved. Who's Syracuse? Who's going to go to Syracuse anymore?
Hey, as long as we don't get babad again, everything will be fine there.
Yeah. I don't know. Because I see Duke, Kentucky, Arkansas, Syracuse, Indiana, and Georgetown are the ones on there. I don't know. I feel like Syracuse is, as much as I hate to even admit it, like Syracuse is this school that I just feel like is so irrelevant and does not matter. Georgetown too, but I don't know. Georgetown's got kind of an aura to it. Syracuse, you just had Boeheim for 40 years, and that's really what your program is. So
yeah, I think he visited Syracuse early. Georgetown is, I think his AAU coach or one of his coaches is on staff over there now. So people were kind of looking at that. It was for the longest, people thought he was going to Duke because everybody that's ever attended his high school has gone to Duke. But he's going to Arkansas. So Cal wins.
Per usual, man. Imagine not being in the champagne room while all you poors are over there just getting to the scraps. We're over here getting burger boys like they're going out of style. So yeah. Can't wait. Okay, so there's something else I want to discuss. We'll get to the chats a bit too, but want to remind everybody, SARACEN is our official sports betting app here at the Inside Arkansas, because no matter what it is, when it comes to Razorback sports, when it comes to the Olympic sports, which are going on right now, when it goes to anything and everything you can have, specials, parlays, spreads, anything, SARACEN is going to have you covered. And the best thing about it is because of our partnership with SARACEN, you get the best deal, an exclusive deal just for you. Where if you scan that QR code on your screen or you click the link below in the description, it'll take you to download the app. When you download the app, be sure to use code INSIDEAR250. That's INSIDEAR250, because when you use that code, you can bet $25 and get $250 for free. That's right. Just $25 gets you $250 for free, only with the SARACEN app. Only using that code INSIDEAR250. So be sure to scan that QR code and be sure to download the app using code INSIDEAR250 to bet $25 and get $250 with SARACEN. So, okay, we got to bring this up. I know this has been a topic of conversation in college basketball, but right as soon as we ended the show yesterday, our man Nate Oates, man, he was meeting with the media, and of course, first time we got to hear from with the Bediako situation and everything. And there's a few clips I'm going to play here. But the first one is just going to be he got asked the question, was it worth it bringing in Bediako and dealing with all of this? Well, I'll let the clip speak for itself.
Yeah, I realize it hasn't been 24 hours yet since the Bediako ruling, but just in your mind, do you think it was worth it bringing him in for those 5 games?
100%. Like, there was an opportunity to help one of our former players out. He was within his 5-year window. He's trying to get his degree. You know, and here's the thing too. My job as a head coach is to do the right thing by our guys, and Charles is one of our guys, and that was the right thing to do by one of our guys. Like I've said before, this is not some mercenary deal. A 23-year-old coming in for a semester from that nobody knows, renting them for a semester or something. So, you know, he was deemed legally eligible to play. We're going to absolutely support him. And, you know, one of the ironic statements in the affidavit that Sankey put was, you know, like how much of a disadvantage it is to go be a pro and not have to focus on your college, which it's not the case. It would be nice if everybody that was commenting, writing, talking about this actually educated themselves on the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation is Charles left here with his body looking pretty good at 235. He went to the G League. You don't get the same treatment as you do. There's a reason all of the G League players are trying to come. I shouldn't say all. There's a reason there's a lot of G League players trying to come back to college. The money's a lot better. The development's a lot better. You get way better. You get a full-time dietitian, full-time strength coach. You're not traveling on commercial flights, spending all your time in airports, not being able to develop. Charles actually has lost weight since he went to the G League. His development wasn't what, you know, you would think being a pro. No, you're more of a professional, able to focus on getting your body right in college. So, you know, he's here, he's in school. We're going to help him try to gain weight back that he's lost since he was in the G League. We're going to continue to help his basketball development and continue to help his development as a student and a student athlete. So 100% it was worth it. I'd do the same thing 100 times out of 100 for any of our guys that it made sense to do it with.
To do the thing where he's telling people they need to educate themselves on the reality of all this, that's I mean, boy, that's the most tone deaf. Well, one of the most tone deaf things I've ever heard him say. Good grief, that's ridiculous. Does he try to hold his breath while he speaks? It's like the most difficult thing in the world for him to get a word out of his mouth. It seems uncomfortable. Maybe he just yells all the time in games or something. It's just. He's doing too much, man.
He also missed the point entirely of what Sankey was saying. And again, I hate to be in this position where we're defending the NCAA and Greg Sankey here, but like Sankey was saying, when you're not a student, he wasn't saying the facilities are better in the G League and the strength and conditioning department for the, you know, Ignite is better than Bama. He's saying when you're not a student and your entire life for 2 years is just getting better at basketball, regardless of how well the G League does at developing you, regardless of how good the coaching is, regardless of whether or not you're actually doing the right things, you're not a student. So it's not right for someone who has been not a student for 2 years to just come back to college athletics where all these guys are being full-time students. And I get that the lines are blurred between student athlete and just athlete now, but that was the point that Greg Sankey was making. Not that the G League is such a great developmental program that has great facilities and great coaches that prepare these guys at a different level. It's just the fact that you can't go not be a student for 2 years and then come back and be like, oh, I'm a student again, actually.
Yeah. Well, like there's so many things wrong with that. And the fact, what really just set me off was when he was just like, I wish people would, you know, educate themselves and research this to actually know the situation and stuff. I'm like, you're trying to make it sound like every single other person in the world is just stupid and you're the only one that knows what's going on. Like the vast majority of people outside of that bleep county of Tuscaloosa, as our friend Quinn talked about, everybody out there's like, this is stupid, this is bad, this is dumb, this is not the same thing as this is like all of that. But yet you're the only one that's educated enough to speak on it, you know, because you wish other people would do it too. I'm like, you really think that everybody else, it's not just a bunch of trolls that are Auburn fans. Like, you think everybody else who's been talking about this are just morons? You think Greg Sankey's an idiot? He's like, oh, he just hasn't, you know, done his research on it. Are you out of your mind? Like, that's the thing that I take one of the biggest issues with is not, hey, just take your L and move on, man. But then you're going to come out and be like, none of you even know what's going on. No, you're just an idiot and you're a piece of trash and you just can't admit the L and move on instead of just trying to have this holier than thou thing. That really just set, again, tone deaf and idiotic in his approach to this. And I just still can't believe he takes himself that seriously and says it with a straight face. I just can't believe he does that.
And he's trying to champion, like, we take care of our guys here and everything, like that's his big deal right now. I do it 100 times over because he's one of our guys. Charles is our guy. We're going to take care of Charles. We do whatever we got to do for Charles. That's all fine and dandy. Would you have done this if the paint wasn't sweet on your defense? I don't know that you would, to be honest with you. And then now, like later in that press conference, he's talking about Noah Williamson, the guy that got shoved to the end of the bench. He has to sit in the second row now because there's not a seat for him on the bench. Because you brought Bediako in as your ringer for 5 games in the middle of the season because you didn't think that dude was good enough. And now you're doing the thing of, well, he's played some good basketball for us. He was pretty good against Kentucky, and we got to get him going and everything. How do you think that dude feels? Because he's also doing the thing where he's like, no, doing this in the middle of the season, we're not taking opportunities away from anybody. Bullshit. That's exactly what you're doing. The hypocrite nature of everything that he's saying here. Yeah. It's par for the course because this is not the first time that his program's been on the wrong side of history with a situation like this from a national standpoint. But he can't seem to figure it out. And to gaslight people and to browbeat them to, sound like you're the smart guy on the room is just crazy to me.
Yeah, I definitely think like he should have leaned into, because like he said, we're doing right by our guy and Charles is our guy. He should have just leaned into that and leaned into, hey, we're trying to develop him and we think this is better for him than playing in Europe or playing in the G League or whatever. So we're just trying to help Charles and yada, yada, yada. But ignoring that side of it and how it affects your current team. And then again, trying to act like everyone's dumb and everyone just missed the boat on this and nobody's educated in what they're talking about, as if there aren't. Why don't you educate yourself on what the rules are? Because if you had, you would have known there was no way this was going to fly. There was no way you were just going to sneak this one in and no one was going to notice. And so I think he could have gone about it in a completely different way. And frankly, if he had done the thing where he was like, hey, we didn't mean to, we're not trying to break rules, but like, we're just trying to help Charles. That was our entire priority. And that's how I made the decision. And I'll stand. I wouldn't have agreed with it necessarily, but I could have at least respected it.
Yeah. And that's my thing too. It's just his approach and because everybody knows what this is about. Everyone sees what it's about. And I would have actually some respect for him if he just came out and said, yeah, hey, we saw a loophole, so we took advantage of it and try to get a guy who's in a pro situation to help us out in winning games. I would have been like, hey, I hate you for it, but man, I respect you for being honest. But just to mask this over some sort of like, he's a victim in all of this and that you're a victim and you're helping out a victim is just the most ludicrous and ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Yes, no, you're 100% right. And that point that you just made there, I think there's a lot of truth to it because what he likes to do is point out every example in college basketball of somebody who's played professionally at any level who's now playing college basketball. And a lot of schools are doing that because they actually have found a lull. Now, are you skirting the rules? Are you manipulating it to get a benefit out? Sure, you absolutely are. There's a difference in that and then just clearly breaking a very established, well-known and understood guideline and rule, getting denied and then going out and getting your temporary restraining order. That way you could get by for basketball games for a couple weeks and hope that you would get the sympathy benefit of the doubt for the kid and be able to keep him the rest of the season. There is a big difference between the two there, but he continues to ignore the very obvious reason why this was such a big issue and why it was never going to get cleared.
Yeah, and what he's not allowed to say out loud is, hey, the lines are getting blurry, and I wanted to see how far I could push it. And if I could push it without it being a huge issue, I was perfectly okay to do that.
Yep.
Instead, it got shot down. That's the reality of the situation. But he's not allowed to say that because he has to do this whole spiel about how I'm actually a leader of men helping kids and whatever. It's all fine. I think we all see this for what it was, which is just, you tried to make something happen. You thought you maybe could sneak one by the NCAA. The NCAA fought back. They drew the line. Now we know where the line's at. Thank you.
Yeah. Just a few more clips on this, though, because I just want to, really make people understand just how Nate Oateson is not a good person. He was asked about playing Ole Miss, and about that matchup. And, he was very poignant about making a point about one of their players.
It's a good team that beat us here last year. We've got to make sure we're ready for them. They've got a multitude of players that are playing. The kid Camerdine, played with JDA Dijon in France. It's the first tier France division. He's a pro that played a lot of years of professional basketball before he came over here. So he's good. He's been starting at the point for him. We've got to make sure we're ready.
He's just the worst, man. Like, he's just the absolute worst.
Somebody get that man some nasal spray. What are we doing? Yeah, he is again. Yeah, this kid that's averaging 6 points a game at Ole Miss was playing in a pro league in France or whatever. Did he play in college before he did that? No. Did he forego all of his remaining college eligibility? No. But you don't want to hear any of that. So just keep spinning whatever narrative you want to. And if your fan base wants to believe in that, then more power to them. That's a little cultish if you can't see past the BS there. But whatever.
Yeah.
That's a stance that really only works if you just ignore all of the context. And he's doing these on purpose, where he's trying to like draw lines to all these other situations that are happening in college basketball and trying to act like the Bediako situation is that. It's not that.
Yeah. And then finally, because then we'll get to your chats, Bucky McMillan, Texas A&M coach, was kind of, had some comments about this particular thing. And, again, a lot of coaches, I'm sure, have a lot of opinions on it, but I thought it was pretty fascinating what he had to say about the situation with Bediako no longer being eligible.
Your hope has got to be, but we're trying to compete and try to get the best seed for the SEC tournament. We'd love to get the 1 seed. We'd love to go try to win the league, right? We know that. I'm not talking about Alabama. I don't care about Alabama. How do they make it right for us? How is it made right for us? Right? That's all okay. I don't, they could do that. That's not my deal. How's it made right for us? Because they're not going to be able to play with their full roster against the other teams when we had to play against their full roster. And that's just, that's something that, you hope, I don't know how that's made right for us. And for the NCAA tournament, and also, obviously, people say for the NCAA tournament, well, we got to look at this for the NCAA tournament that, you ought to play against a team at full strength in that regard. But let's just throw out the NCAA tournament. Let's talk about the SEC race and the SEC seeding in a pursuit of a regular season, competing as high to try to win the SEC. You certainly that playing those guys at full strength, and they're not able to play other teams at full strength. That's a disadvantage to us. We know that. So,
does he have a point?
He does. Yeah, I mean, he does have. Now, I'm not going to lie, it comes across as a little bit whiny there. You could have just taken the Ty Golden approach. We're going to beat him anyway, and just gotten that done. That would have been cool. Tennessee was able to figure that out. Florida was able to figure that out. So, you could have just won the game. But he absolutely has a point, man. And that's where it goes back to me of what do you do here? Because people say vacate their wins or whatever. Sure, okay, maybe, but then what about their losses? Because you got to treat all those games the same. If that dude was playing in there, so that takes away a massive quad 1A road win for Tennessee, and it takes away a game that just completely flipped the metrics and put Florida back in the holy crap, these guys could be a Final Four contender conversation. So you got to take into account all of those. So what I think is going to happen is nothing. I don't think they're going to do anything about this. And it's a little bit crazy. And my other point is, would they have lost to Texas A&M if Bediako wasn't? Probably. Would they have lost to Auburn? Probably. Like, you could do the math of what Bediako's contributions were and come to that conclusion. Somebody else could have stepped up. You never know, but that's very much in play. So yeah, I'm more concerned about the other teams and how they're impacted, like Bucky's talking about, than I am about Alabama. I don't care about Alabama at this point, but think about Auburn's situation right now, where they were kind of on a roll there. And I don't know if this was the loss that broke them or whatever. Had they got that win over Alabama, they're sitting pretty. They're in a great spot right now. Instead, they've lost 3 in a row. They're getting ready to come to Bud Walton. If they lose 4 in a row, they're 14-11, and there's nothing guaranteed for them in terms of postseason. So yeah, you could have just gone out there and won the game. But if I'm the coaching staff there, and my job is dependent on these kind of things. I'm very, very irritated about this. And to his point, yeah, now everybody else in the SEC doesn't have to see this dude. It's not like he was a All-American monster or whatever, but their front court stinks. They're horrible on the glass. They have no rim protection, and he provided some. So he did change things for Alabama while he was in there.
Yeah, I think, everyone with a brain can definitely understand how this is not only, something that Bama should be viewed a little bit differently for, but definitely those teams negatively were affected by this Bediako situation, and that should at the very least be considered. Now, will anything actually happen? Will it affect seeding? Whatever. I don't know, but we all agree on that. And so, of course, Bucky has a brain. So, of course, it's not lost on him how his team was negatively affected by this. This is a classic case to me of why I don't think you should always tell the truth as a coach at a press conference, because I definitely agree with Bucky. I think there should be something done. I think that, his team did get a little bit of a raw deal. They would have one more win. They'd have, a much better path to winning the SEC. All that is true. I just think it's kind of a tough, it's hard to look like a cool guy and like a cool, tough coach when you're like begging for,
justice,
lawmakers to do stuff, or like begging the NCAA to help you out. I think the Todd Golden approach is definitely, because Todd Golden, by the way, had they lost that game, I don't know what he would have said. He would have felt the same way, where he's like, man, this is stupid. Like, I can't believe we lost to this guy that shouldn't be playing or whatever. But he took the approach, and I'm not saying that's why Florida beat Bama, but he looks way cooler in this context. Of course, beating them helps, but I think it would have been probably cooler if Bucky would have just been like, yeah, did we get a raw deal? Maybe, but doesn't matter to me. I think we're just going to win out and we'll be cool.
Yeah, I can't wait for Arkansas and Alabama to play, because if Arkansas goes and finds a way to win down there at Coleman Coliseum, I'm sure there'll be some Bama fans be like, well, we got cheated, the NCAA or who, SEC or whoever, the judge. It's going to be some sort of excuse. So, yeah, just go out and beat them and then shut them up. Then you can move on from it. That's really what it's about. That's right. All right, so a few more chats here before we get out of here for the day, folks. Shout out to Grant, who's becoming a YouTube member. Appreciate it, Grant. Thank you. Appreciate you, man. I appreciate all of our members here on Inside Arkansas. Also, super chat from Steven says, been trying to get in the Discord for months. Post it in the chat, please. Well,
here's what you can do. Go to, after the show, go to yesterday's Inside Arkansas Live on our channel. In the comment section of that video, someone asked for the link and I put it in there.
Okay.
So go check that out.
Do that. Or if you know how to use QR codes, scan that right there on your screen, right there, up there in the top left corner.
There you go.
Yeah, make it easy for you, as easy as possible, and you'll get in there. You get to mix it up with all the nonsense degenerates that are in there already anyway. So, yeah. Okay, a few more here. Let's see. Addison wants to know, how were the devotionals at horse camp?
I really don't remember much from them. I do remember we did some like VBS type of songs at horse camp, because I think it was a Christian, ordeal in some form or fashion. Yeah, we had some good stuff. We had some good stuff there.
Yeah. Still, that's
our counselors, dude. Our counselors were the most like redneck dudes of all time. But they were good people. It was a good little organization.
Bunch of Marlboro men.
Yeah, a lot of chewing tobacco was consumed at horse camp.
Well, what's funny is that Gracie Frizzell, our real estate expert, she does horse ranching. Like, she does all of that. So I'm like, we need to do some content where Ellis just goes over there and rides some horses.
Let's go ride some horses, man. It'd be nice to get back on the saddle, Yeah, everybody always says back in the saddle. I haven't been on the saddle in a while.
No. Did you guys ever see the movie City Slickers, like way back when? Probably not, but it's like
not.
Billy Crystal movie. Okay, yeah.
City Slickers, yeah.
Yeah, great movie. So it's like, that's what I feel like. Just a bunch of guys that have no business riding horses, but we could pull it off. We can make it work. Let's see. Catspy21 says, I watched Gonzaga once. Do not recommend. Yeah, that was a rough one for you.
Yeah, we were talking about that one earlier on the who would you want to see. They've got not EK, but their other forward that's really good. Huff, I think his last name is, that's out with an injury. He's been out for a minute. That's been bothering them. They lost to Portland, not the Trailblazers, the other day. So tough scenes.
Portland, not the Trailblazers.
Yeah.
Let's see. Also, David just says, I want all the Blue Ember smoke. Okay. Well, if you want that, you can just go to Blue Ember and you'll smell of their Blue Ember smoke for the rest of the day.
You will.
So,
usually when someone says that, it's like a threat, right? Like, oh, I want the smoke with so-and-so.
Did I
feel
see
like
that?
this is, I can't tell if this is a threat or if he just is like, I want to smell the barbecue smell.
I think I saw earlier that Finch was there again today.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, love it. Yeah. It's a great place to be. If you haven't been yet, you got to check it out. That's for sure. So, well, fellas, any final thoughts before we roll out of here for the day?
Oh, no, not really. I'm probably just going to hang out and watch some Jordan Smith Jr. highlights and enjoy that, and then record a little pot at the Palace. Just a nice, easy, casual. What is today? Wednesday.
Yeah, I like that. Well, my final thought is everyone take a break, go use the bathroom, go do whatever you got to do, go, shake some hands, do whatever you got to do. Come back at 3 p.m. We're going to be right back here. Bombastic live stream. We might go for 5 hours. Anywhere from 30 minutes to 5 hours. That's kind of what we're set for. And so we're going to go as long as you guys want, man. We're going to be talking ball, just chatting, hanging out, great times. And we're going to soak in the good vibes as we wait for the weekend. The Woo Pig week is in full swing.
Sorry, was it last year that you decided to do a live stream for a doubleheader on baseball and you were live forever?
I sure did. Yeah. And that was stupid.
Yeah.
Not going to do that for the opener this year. There probably will be because, there will be Wednesdays where Arkansas baseball plays at 3 p.m. or whatever. For those games, I might be live for those. Just, kicking, hanging out, doing whatever. Now that we figured out, knock on wood, kind of my internet situation, so a little bit, if you guys have noticed, I haven't been dropping off the map nearly as often lately. It makes these live streams easier to do.
Yeah. Well, either way, I'm sure it'll be great for today at 3:00, and I'm going to be heading down to Arlington tonight. So should be exciting. Have some great content to hear from Dave and some of the players tomorrow, as well as going to the Shriners event in the morning, seeing what that's all about. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on here at Inside Arkansas. So you better make sure you're subscribed to us as we're following along with all of it. Razorback football, basketball, baseball, everything. You can check out all of our audio podcasts where our podcasts are found, whether it's Inside Arkansas Live, Pod at the Palace, Bombastic Podcast, or Inside Arkansas Recruiting Podcast. We have it all right here, and that'll do it for us today. For Andrew Ellis, Curtis Wilkerson, intern Cameron, I'm John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow at noon. Have a great rest of your day.